in their seats. Sorry for the confusion. I would like to request the panel members to take their seats in the dais. We have, as our session chair, keynote speaker and moderator for this session, Mohammad Mokammal Hussain, Secretary, Ministry of Civil Aviation and Tourism. I would like to request the panel members to take their seat in the dais. As our panelists, we have Mr. H.M. Hakim Ali, President, Bangladesh International Hotels Association. His Excellency, Mr. Ghanesham Bhandari, Ambassador of Nepal to Bangladesh. Ms. Afsia Saleh, Managing Director, Simon Group of Industries. Ms. Rahnuma Salam Khan, Deputy Director, PR and IR, Bangladesh Tourism Board. Dr. Santosh Kumar De, Professor and Chairman, Department of Tourism and Hospitality, University of Dhaka. We also have Mr. Amjad Hussain, Director of FBCCI, as our panelist today. As a vote of thanks, I would like to request MGR Wasir Majumdar, Director of FBCCI, to take his place in the dais. I would now like to request our guest of honor of today's session, His Excellency Mr. Karma Dorji, Honorable Minister of Industry, Commerce and Employment, Royal Government of Bhutan, to take his seat in the dais. As our chief guest of today's session, we have Mohammad Mahbub Ali, Minister of Civil Aviation and Tourism. I would like to request him to take his seat in the stage. Thank you. I would now like to hand over the mic to our session chair, keynote speaker and moderator of today's session, Mohammad Mokammal Hussain, for his presentation. Thank you.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Honorable Chief Guest, His Excellency M. Mahbub MP, Honorable Minister, Ministry of Civil Aviation and Tourism, Government of the People's Republic of Bangladesh. Honorable Guest of Honor, His Excellency Mr. Karma Dorji, Honorable Minister, Ministry of Industry, Commerce and Employment, Royal Government of Bhutan. We have our panelists today here in the dais, His Excellency Ghanesham Bhandari, Ambassador of Nepal to Bangladesh, Dhaka. We have with us H.M. Hakim Ali, President of BIHA and Chairman Agrabad Hotel. Ms. Afsia Saleh, Managing Director, Simon Group of Industries. Ms. Rahnuma Salam Khan, Deputy Director, Bangladesh Tourism Board. We have with us MD Jiaul Haq, Howladar, Head of PR, Bangladesh Porjodan Corporation. Amjad Hussain, Director, Federation of Business of Chamber of Commerce and Industries. And Mr. Wasim Majumdar, Director, FBCCI. Journalists from print and electronic media, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum and very good afternoon to you all. At the outset, I would like to start by paying my sincerest tribute to the greatest Bengali ever born, the supreme leader of the independence, the father of the Bengali nation, Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman. I pay my tribute to all the martyrs of 15th August 1975, including Bangamata Begum Fazilatunisa Mujib. I pay my tribute to the 3 million martyrs who sacrificed their lives for our independence and to the 200,000 our mothers and sisters who sacrificed their esteem for our liberty. Ladies and gentlemen, we have very important panel discussions today on market readiness of opportunity for foreign direct investment in tourism industry of Bangladesh. You know, Bangladesh is rich with all the components of tourism. So there are a lot of potentials for flourishing the tourism industry, which could really help Bangladesh to go ahead and become a smart Bangladesh by 2041. And then we need the foreign direct investment and the private sector investment for the flourishing of this tourism industry. So today, I would like to focus on the Bangladesh tourism as the crouching tiger and market readiness for the tourism industry, foreign direct investments, benefits and opportunities, public-private partnership-driven development, and tourism in Bangladesh, a new era, where we are going and how the foreign investors could be attracted to invest here in Bangladesh, the beautiful Bangladesh, and the country brand name Mujib's Bangladesh. After the pandemic, actually, everything turned in a normal way, and the tourism sector has become strongly to be flourished. In Bangladesh, we have seen during the pandemic, there is a lot of domestic tourists. Now we are looking for our inbound tourism. And then, having learned from the global experiences, we would like to take our tourism sector in a new height. Tourism is very important sector for the emancipation as well as for the development of the country. Bangladesh is rich, as I mentioned, the natural and cultural richness, and there are diversity of our natural resources as well as cultural diversity. In 2019, the contribution to the GDP was about 3%, and employment direct contribution 1.85 million, and the amount of visitor export, that is USD 333 million. And tourism not a single industry, it is the cluster or collection of sub-sectors. In our 2022 industrial policy, we have given the importance on 12 sectors, especially on tourism, transports, accommodations, recreation, education, media, and publication, technology, and others. So we are hoping, we have been formulating our master plan for tourism, where we have estimated about 72 lakh 85,000 jobs will be created in this sector. Here we are considering Bangladesh as a crouching tiger. Our Honorable Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina mentions like, quote, the government has been investing in infrastructure, promoting entrepreneurship, and upskilling the workforce with vision of becoming an advanced, prosperous nation and being a smart Bangladesh by 2041. All these initiatives have built a strong foundation for a new era of tourism. Now Bangladesh is ready and open to receive foreign direct investment and more private sector investment to flourish the tourism sector to an international standards. We have untapped economic potentials in the tourism sector. Bangladesh has huge untapped potentials to increase the GDP contribution from tourism sector. It's from 3.04% to global rate of 10%. According to the situational analysis by the experts of the master plan, who have been actually formulating the master plan of Bangladesh tourism, the untapped economic potentials of tourism sector at current GDP level is 32.5 billion US dollars. According to World Bank and BBS, Bangladesh is the fastest growing economies in the world, and it will become 9th largest consumer market by 2030. The middle and affluent class will grow by 34 million by 2025, who can be the potential clients of domestic tourism. All these macroeconomic indicators ensures the untapped economic potentials of tourism, which can be attained with proper implementation of the master plan, along with necessary FDI and private sector investments. Now, diverse tourism offerings. Bangladesh is blessed with a huge range of diversity in tourism sector. It has enormous richness from archaeological and historical attractions to rural tourism, ecotourism, and community-based tourism, blue tourism, MICE, that is meetings, incentives, conference, and exhibitions, and many more. Our country is blessed with the longest sandy sea beach in the world, largest mangrove forest, UNESCO heritage sites, amazing hills, beautiful tea gardens, rivers, and ethnic and cultural diversity. Thus, Bangladesh has the capacity to address different types of tourism based on different choices of tourists. We have formulating the master plan. It is at the final stage. So we have the stakeholder consultations all over the country to formulate the master plan of our tourism. Previously, it was haphazardly organized. Now, through the master plan, we will have our organized way to develop the tourism sector. To increase significantly the GDP contribution to the tourism sector through effective sectoral plan, along with FDI and PPP, the Minister of Civil Aviation and Tourism is finalizing the tourism master plan. The tourism master plan included regional plans with zoning, clusters, product development plan, architectural plan, investment and financing strategy, along with promotion and marketing strategy. The tourism master plan has 8 regional plans based on geographical features, 53 clusters, from which 19 clusters have been prioritized for first phase of implementation. The tourism master plan has also included 10 development projects to initiate immediate implementation of the master plan based on government's priorities with huge potentials of profitability. The government is now requesting investors of the tourism sector of the world to invest in Bangladesh and support to improve the tourism sector into an international standards with local specialists. The following 4 slides I will show you just to give a snapshots of the clusters and how we plan to transform the total tourism sector of Bangladesh into a global attraction. These clusters have included all sorts of tourism, from archaeological to natural, from river to blue tourism, from MICE to adventure tourism. Here is the 4 clusters. You see northwest of Bangladesh. The product mapping has been done, Rangpur, Bogora, Rajshahi. These are the things, important tourism attractions. Then north-south side, Mymensingh, Borisal, we have the Sundarbans, Kuakata, Monpura, like that. And then northeast, the Tangwar Haur, which is also UNESCO World Heritage, Sylhet, Srimangal, Dhaka, Kumilla. And then southeast, we have Rangamati, Thanchi, Cox's Bazar, Teknaf. Now, the remarkable progress in connectivity and energy sector. I will discuss on this. This is very much important for flourishing the tourism industry. The remarkable achievements of Bangladesh in the infrastructure connectivity, including regional connectivity and energy, have already set a strong foundation for boosting the tourism sector. The Padda Bridge, which has been built by our own source, the metro rail, the elevated expressway, the 3rd terminal of Hajrat Shahjahan International Airport, the international airport at Cox's Bazar, Rupur power plant, and Rampal thermal power plant are among those accomplishments. Now I will focus on the next 2 slides about the ongoing reforms and transformations of Bangladesh in the tourism sector. These include simplified visa applications. So it is been done. We will have our e-visa soon. One-stop service, which the One-Stop Service Act has been enacted by BIDA, and increasing market visibility through effective and rigorous promotional activities. We have been doing the market research and market promotion taking with our immense publicity through our missions abroad. And then with the help of public-private partnership approach, the specialized financing will be possible for large-scale infrastructural developments. The interministerial collaboration will be strengthened with effective governance mechanism. The government is also focusing on creating world-class international gateway infrastructures, for example, international airports, to support the implementation of the master plan. Now, foreign direct investment. Now I will highlight to all of you why you will invest in the tourism sector of Bangladesh. Bangladesh is enjoying a significant increase in the domestic tourism for last decades. You know, during the COVID-19, it was lockdown, we have so many outbound tourists from Bangladesh, and they didn't have any opportunity to visit, so they have visited all over Bangladesh. So we have our domestic, very strong tourism available here in Bangladesh, and it happened even in the COVID period after withdrawal of the lockdown. As I mentioned, huge flow of domestic tourists in all possible tourist destinations of our country revived the sector tremendously. Bangladesh is also enjoying the demographic dividend, which means the share of the working group is highest among the population. This is also blessings to utilize these huge human capital into tourism sector, since it is a labor-intensive sector. The long and persistent political stability, including macroeconomic stability, ensures Bangladesh as a safe and profitable place for investment, especially in the tourism sector. Under the leadership of our Honorable Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina, Bangladesh has been growing faster, and last 14 years, it is a real development scenario all over Bangladesh. And you see, the GDP has been enormous development from 72 billion to over 400 billions. Our per capita income has increased from $550 to $2,824. We have our poverty rate decreased from 41 to 20%. Huge economic and social development has been happened during this period. And this is possible for a continuous, the stable government. The continuous increasing rate of foreign remittance also create a great cushioning of the economy and reduce the risk levels. With all these positive and favorable indicators, new international hotel chains are opening their branches in Bangladesh. So we can see that we have all the positive and favorable indicators to invest in the tourism sector. So I would like to invite you to please come and invest in tourism sector in Bangladesh. We know that FDI comes with FDI comes with additional benefits, including technical knowledge, international. We all know technical knowledge, international best practices, global standards, product planning and marketing, better understanding of the source market, improvement in client management process, and above all, improve the knowledge sharing and capacity development of local products as per international standards. So Bangladesh welcomes these additional benefits along with FDI. Bangladesh government has also identified development projects under the PPP approach, where we are looking for extensive FDIs and private sector investments. So next 2 slides, next 12 slides, I will try to brief about the representation of such development projects with public-private approach. This includes Kuakata Integrated Resort Zone projects. We have Podda Bridge Resort Zone project, and then Shahpurir Deep Tourism Park, Najir Tech Tourism Zone project, Shompur Mahabihar Tourism project, We have Shalbon Bihar Heritage Project, Heritage Circuit Shalbon Bihara, Heritage Circuit Shalbon Bihara. We have Lawachora Tea Estate Tourism Park, Tangwar Haur, which is our UNESCO Heritage, Tangwar Haur Tourism Complex Project, Sundarban Kalabogi Project, then Poddachar Tourism Park Project. Our Honorable State Minister was telling today that this could be arranged, this type of seminars near the Podda Bridge. We have a real opportunity there to build the tourism sector as well as some opportunities for investing FDI there. In these projects, we are expecting matching investments from FDIs. Now, the following two slides, let us see a quick understanding what we have planned to do in these tourist destinations, how much government is going to invest and how much we need to FDIs or private investments. Like Shalbon Bihar Shampura, we have 14 million plan. We have in our master plan, we have indicated that 4 million from GOB and 10 million from FDI. Special tourist zone in Lawachara, Tangwar Haur, 65 million. We have estimated 1.5 million from government side and 65 million from FDI. Poddachar, 135 million FDI. So like this, our Kuakata Podda Bridge, Shapuri Deep, we have our estimations like this, the huge opportunity for the foreign investors. So FDI has a great role to play to develop these tourism sectors. Now, tourism. We are entering a new era of tourism. We have in the final stage of formulating our master plan, as I mentioned. So we have adopted the master plan of tourism along with structural plan and investment with promotion and marketing. The Industry Policy 2022 welcomes FDI in tourism sector as third priority sector. We have a good number of non-resident Bangladeshis all over the world who are encouraged to investment in tourism sector. Also, we have over 10 million Bangladeshi workers working in abroad, and the foreign remittance could be tapped in tourism sector. Matching FDI and GOB investments to implement international standard tourism products. And the demographic dividend, the huge existing youth force who could be the important factor for flourishing the tourism sector of Bangladesh. Now I am coming at the conclusion of my presentation. My final statement would be the dream and the global of the Bangladesh, dream and the goal of the Bangladesh government to transform the country into one of the tourist attraction destinations of the world. To achieve the goal, which is very much possible to attain, we need the support of FDIs and private investment. I'm sure and optimistic that you will continue to support us towards achieving our goals. I'm confident that the crouching tiger of the tourism sector will take off along with partnerships and supports from all of you. Your participation in our development efforts will help us to fulfill our goal of becoming a developed nation, which is the dream of our father of the nation, Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, the Sonar Bangla, the Golden Bangladesh, and the target of our Honorable Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina of becoming a smart Bangladesh by 2041. And on this, we have given our country brand name, considering the tourism country brand is Mujib's Bangladesh. You know, father of the nations, his image is worldwide. So we are using this country brand name, Mujib's Bangladesh, for our tourism development. So thank you all. Thank you very much. Joy Bangla, Joy Bangabandhu. May Bangladesh live forever. Ladies and gentlemen, you can see my last slide. There is a ray for the tourism sector. So we are seeing the ray. We hope it will be flourish in future. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mokammal Hussain, for your keynote presentation. I would now like to request you to take your seat in the dais and start our panel discussion for today's session. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. We have our panelists here. I find left to right. So I would request Mr. Hakim Ali, Chief Executive Officer, Hotel Agrabad. Could you brief on how is Chittagong's tourism sector expected to develop in coming years, in line with expected development of Chittagong Port and nearby special economic zones? Yeah.
Assalamu alaikum. Good evening. First of all, I would give my resignation. I am the president of Bangladesh International Hotel Association and many other organizations in tourism industry. So, Honorable Chief Guest, Minister for Civil Aviation Tourism, Mr. Mahbub Ali. Then we have Mr. Sharma from Bhutan, Honorable Minister, our Honorable Secretary, Mr. Mukammal Hussain, and other panelists. I have been asked about Chittagong, and I believe who are here, all of you know what is Chittagong or where Chittagong is. Chittagong is the second largest city in Bangladesh, and it is a commercial capital. But very sorry to say, only in the name commercial capital and no other activities being there. But recently, many things are coming up, like you must have seen in the newspaper or TV, there's a first tunnel going from Chittagong to Anwara, then a very big EPZ that's in Mirasharai, that will change the map of Chittagong when it comes up. But a lot of FDI, they are interested to invest in hotels and other industries, and this is the biggest export zone that is coming up in Chittagong. And about Chittagong port, you know, the activities is very good, but I would request our government that they should make facilities for passenger ship. You know, we are talking of tourism. So this passenger ship, somebody tried to bring into Chittagong, but there was a lot of restriction from the government. So as I have the chance to say, so I will put the request to our Honorable Minister and the Secretary to keep a note that if they allow the cruise ship, if you see in India now, in Calcutta, in Madras, Bombay, Mumbai, all other port cities, they are having a very good cruise going on, and I'm sure Bangladesh also can do good in the cruising. But one thing is very sad, I would like to say, I see a lot of tour operators are sitting in front of me. When any occasion comes up, Rangamati, no accommodation. Cox's Bazar, no accommodation. Sylhet, no accommodation. Bandarban, no accommodation. But Chittagong, nobody is going Chittagong. And I have been requesting all the tour operators who are sitting here, why? Can you tell me? I personally invited all the tour operators, not once, thrice, had a separate meeting. Why not Chittagong? Chittagong, what doesn't Chittagong have? It has sea, it has hills, it has mountain, what not? We have everything in Chittagong, but no attention is being given to Chittagong. So my request to my brothers who are sitting here, honorable ladies and gentlemen who are operating tours, please add Chittagong, try to promote Chittagong. You know, in last holidays that we had Shab-e Barat, I personally took interest to check what is going on in Cox's Bazar, Rangamati and other places. They were all overfull. But when I inquired about Chittagong, we have 3 big hotels. One is Hotel Agrabad, one is Hotel Radisson Blue, and other is Peninsula. Their occupancy was not more than 50%. So you can understand no movement at all. So my request to my brothers, please see what can be done. Chittagong has lot of futures, lot of things are there, you know. But if you ever been there, like Sitagund, if you think of Sitagund, if you think of Mirasharai and other places, a lot of attractive things are there, you know. The war cemetery, There's a very big attraction. There's a Masjid Bustan, what not you have. If you go, now the things have become so easy, because if you go to internet, you can easily find out what I have. I don't want to give a big lecture what we have or what not have. So I must thank our Honorable Secretary, Minister of Civil Aviation Tourism. The light he has given is very good, excellent. But for everything, marketing is needed. So without marketing, nothing can be done. You will be surprised to know a state like Kerala, a place like Tripura, in their budget they have over 100 crore rupees, whereas in Bangladesh our budget is about 35 to 50 crore, at the same time cut 50%. So with this we can only talk, but nothing can come into practical. So no use of talking. Let's come to practical, let's do something. What we are doing, only talking, next day you will see very good thing in the newspaper, this is finished. No follow-up. So I will request our Honorable Minister and Secretary, whatever we talk, we should follow up. Thank you very much. Again, thank you for giving me a chance.
Thank you, Mr. Hakim Ali. Now I would like to call upon our Deputy Director of Bangladesh Tourism Board, Ms. Rahanuma. Could you tell what initiatives have the government taken recently to develop the tourism and hospitality sector, and what are some of future plans of the tourism board to run Bangladesh into a hub of tourists?
Respected session chair, guest of honor, chief guest, designated panelist, and distinguished guests, a very good morning, good afternoon to you all. I have been asked to highlight two areas where what we are doing as from Bangladesh Tourism Board, and then what we are planning to do. First of all, BTB is supporting the ministry to setting the normative standards of the tourism sector, which includes all those rules, acts, and regulations. And at this moment, we are finalizing the master plan. What we are thinking would be a kind of a change of era, the document for the change of era of the tourism board. We also have developed 22 guidelines, which is totally with the perspective of different characteristics of tourism in Bangladesh. We are also supporting the government to implement the existing rules and regulations we have. We have certain activities and targets for promotion and marketing, which just our respected panelists have just stressed upon, and we think that these are the areas where we need more investments and more activities. We also do some research where we also find that there is a lack of data on tourism sector in our countries, where we also try to motivate the relevant government bodies who are responsible for producing data. These are very much needed to produce and to design an effective rules and action plans and projects for the sector. And we also work with capacity building. We have an institute which is currently conducting a training course, 6-month training course on 4 trades. But we have planned to expand these training centers, and we are planning to collaborate and partner with other countries' similar training institute to make it in international standards. Now, what are the plans? We have a lot of plans, and to make the master plan really, active, and so we have to do a lot of things. So we are finalizing the action plan along with the master plan, where there is a part of the master plan, there will be 10 DPPs, which our respected Secretary Sir provided a glimpse of the project ideas, where we will implement those development projects. This is the first actually step to implement the master plan. We are also planning to form a unit in the Bangladesh Tourism Board, which will overall monitor, plan, supervise, and also analyze the implementation progress of the master plan. We will, of course, expand our ongoing capacity building training and try to partner with international institutes and also our neighboring country who has these similar kind of institutes. There will be an immediate implementation of these 10 projects with DPPs. The DPPs are at this moment are in a final stage of drafting. We also plan to work with the 12 subsectors, which has been mentioned in the Industrial Policy 2022. And for that, we have a plan to work or expand and enhance our network and partnership with the private sectors. We also need to strengthen our networks with the investor giants, because to implement the master plan, we need investment, FDIs, private sector investments, investments from the NRBs, and also remittances can be tapped in. So for these, we need to strengthen our networks with the private sector. We are going to implement a project with ILO and UNDP, which will focus on the skills training and also sustainable tourism. And at the same time, we know that interministerial collaboration is very important for an effective implementation. That's why BTB will be the core to ensure this interministerial coordination and mechanism. For that, the capacity of the BTB itself needs to be enhanced and strengthened. Of course, and finally, we need to enhance our relationship with the private sector, because without private sector, the tourism sector will not be flourished and we can't implement the master plan. Last but not least, I think we, to implement and to all these goals and plans, we really need to strengthen the capacity of the BTB itself, and it needs to be decentralized to make it effective. Thank you all. Thank you all.
Thank you, Rahanuma. Now I would like to request Mr. Santosh Kumar De, Professor and Chairman, Department of Tourism and Hospitality Management, University of Dhaka. Could you focus on how we could attract the FDI in Bangladesh, and also, as you are the chairman of the hospital and tourism industry, how you are preparing our generations for the tourism sector in Bangladesh, which could attract FDI also. Thank you.
Respected Chief Guest, MD Mahabub Ali MP, Minister Civil Aviation and Tourism, and fantastic keynotes presented today, MD Mukammil Hussain, Secretary, Ministry of Civil Aviation and Tourism, and also present here His Excellency Karma Dorji, Minister of Industry, Commerce and Employment, Royal Government of Bhutan, and respected panelists, respected business personality, media personality, participants, good afternoon. Bangladesh is a very beautiful country, and our country branding strategy is Beautiful Bangladesh. And year branding strategy Mujib's Bangladesh, we know that COVID-19, it adversely impacted tourism, but in the post-COVID-19 era, World Economic Forum, they identified the 5 sectors to revive the economy. There is one of the most important sector is tourism. So to implement the Sustainable Development Goal 2030, and to make sure the Smart Bangladesh 2041, and to ensure the Delta Plan next 100 years, there is one of the key important role of tourism. So today, one of the very fantastic discussion is the nexus between the FDI and tourism. So our keynote speaker already presented in our country the tourism attraction, but I'm just going to talking about FDI in different country perspective. But if we are just going to talking about the leading destination for tourism and FDI, the Asia Pacific is the most attractive region, and second attractive region is Western Europe. But in the statistics from the last year, North America, they enhanced their 4.2% FDI, and South America, 60.6% FDI increase from the last year, and Sub-Saharan also the 70%. But if you look at our subcontinent, there is one of the leading country, the leading destination for FDI in tourism is China. But in the greenfield FDI invested interested country, there is a #1 country, China, UK, United States of America, India, and Germany. So we have to be focused on them. And already keynote speaker mentioned that we have lots of projects in upcoming days. There are some prospective project is related to Shahpuri Dev tourism project, Naziretic Tourism Zone and Heritage Summit Shalban Bihar, we can attract the China, UK, USA, and our neighbor country India, and Germany, and China. And this country, if we are just going to attract by ensuring some policy, I'm just going to talking about later what would be our strategy to ensure the sustainable FDI in our country. But in case of the outbound FDI in tourism, but we have to be attract, there are different countries. I just mentioned from the statistics, US is number one. They would love to invest in different country like Bhutan. There in the tourism, there is a most FDI come from, USA. Then UK, France, China, Hong Kong, and Singapore also. But if we're just going to talking about our neighbor country, like Vietnam, Nepal, Bhutan, and India, we have a lots of resources and tourism attractions. So we have to make a good strategy how to enhance them. I just talking about the FDI. Bangladesh is an open and market-based economy, and we have a vibrant and innovative private sector, which provides the main stimulus to the growth of GDP in our country. But we are just going to talking about local and foreign investment is equal treatment. So government, they're focused on local and foreign. So this is one of the very favorable environment country, Bangladesh, for foreign direct investment. Foreign investment in Bangladesh is secured by law and against the nationalism and expropriation. It's related to roads, park, and public utilities, public health, building, etc. So in case of our country, if we are just going to attract the foreign direct investment, there is one of the very important things is branding. We know we have a lots of opportunities, but we cannot branding our country properly. So right now we are passing the 4th industrial revolution. So the time is related to the digitalization and digital transformation. So we have to be focused on digital marketing of our tourism attraction. And we have to be our country branding digitally we need. And we have to be design a fantastic website. It must be memorable and it will be the user-friendly. Content-based marketing, email marketing, and social media marketing. We know the social media marketing is one of the most famous marketing for the tourism destination attraction to the international tourist. So we can use one of the most famous form of the social media marketing, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, and others. We know that Australia is one of the rich country, but in the post-COVID-19 era, they introduced one of the page in Instagram, I love Australia. So they're just going to attract the international tourists to visit Australia. And we know the European country, like one of the strong economic countries, Czech Republic, they also introduce one of the page in Instagram, Praha World. So by these way, they're just going to attracting the international tourists. Today, we are talking about FDI always enhance the international tourist, and that will make a good revenue for a particular country GDP. So we have to be talking about now the time is 21st century. We are talking about the fourth industrial revolution. So we have to be think about the smart tourism, smart Bangladesh, and smart investment. And to ensure the sustainable tourism in our country, we need the skilled human resources. We know that in our country, the private and public universities, they offer the bachelor program, tourism and hospitality management, also the post-graduation in tourism and hospitality management. So now the time of the demand is to modernize the syllabus and to make sure the international standard education. So that's why the Dhaka University, they're just going to changing their syllabus and outcome-based curriculum to meet the international demand and global standard education in our country. So I do believe that in upcoming days, if we are just going to ensure the smart Bangladesh and we want to achieve the 2041st and we want to achieve the sustainable development goal 2030, so there are 3 goals directly related to the tourism, and indirectly out of the 17 goals, each and every one is indirectly related to the tourism. So long live tourism, long live Bangladesh. Thank you so much to invite me in today's session.
Thank you very much, Mr. Shantosh Kumar Dev. Now I'd like to invite Mr. Amzad Hussain, Director, Bangladesh Federation of Bangladesh Chamber of Commerce and Industries. Could you emphasize on how could we increase investment in tourism sector tourism sector from private sector?
Thank you, Honorable Secretary and Session Chair. First of all, I would like to highlight one point that our world has experienced two devastating world wars in very short span of time. But we have not faced any of these incidents in last 75 years. And our research found out that one of the main reasons was promoting tourism among nations and nationalities. So tourism not only helps us to refresh our mind and also to boost our business, but also it has a significant contribution in world peace. So as I was asked about the increased investment from private sector, worldwide the contribution of tourism sector in GDP is very high. It's between 10% to 11%, but our session chair and keynote speaker identified that in our country it's 3%. So we have a huge scope to grow our contribution of tourism. Why? What's the main reason? Because the previous speaker before me identified that the United States tops in the chart of tourism in terms of value. Do you know that the contribution of 2/3 of their value comes from their domestic tourism? We always highlight that how much FDI we are bringing in, how much tourists we are welcoming in our country. But we often forget that what is the strength of our country? The strength of our country is our people. And the future of our country is our demographic dividend, which is we have young population. So if we combine both two of those points, then what we see that our population is almost half of United States, and we have a significant scope to grow in terms of tourism through our inbound or domestic tourism. But if we ask you question all the entrepreneurs involved in tourism sector, probably the margin is very less, or sometimes we have to suffer loss. Ideally, it's not the ideal scenario. So as long as someone is suffering loss or the industry is not attractive, no one would be interested to invest. So if we want to increase investment, there are two scopes. One is domestic investment, other is foreign investment. So when foreigners would see that our domestic investors, they are suffering or they are not happy, they are not getting the return they are expected from other sectors if they compare with tourism, so probably they would not be interested. So in this area, we need to address and we need to make tourism-friendly policy for that area. As the points of infrastructure were decided that we see that the development of Podda Bridge contributes between 1.5 to 2.5% in our GDP. So in tourism, we have seen from the keynote presentation that a lot of investment is coming up to build infrastructure. Even our third terminal is coming up, and once it will be completed, it will significantly increase our trade, all sorts of trade like so. Once we have everything in place, our infrastructure is developed, so we see that there is a prospect for private sector to enhance investment, but provided that we have tourism-friendly policies. Because in tourism, we need to invest in properties and invest in human resources. One is, of course, we need skilled manpower to run all the sectors smoothly. So just to promote skill development, so we need to identify those skill development policy and emphasize on tourism skill development. And we need to introduce those trainings and courses for young generations so that they become interested, because there are a lot of opportunities in job opportunities for in tourism sector. And second point is for the infrastructure and development, like if you want to build up a hotel or other facilities, it requires a huge investment. And huge investment always demands protection of their investment. So it would be ideal if we can introduce tax holidays for the investment in tourism, especially in the infrastructure and properties. So if we get a 15 years tax holiday, those friendly policies, then I think it would be not difficult to attract investors both locally and internationally, provided that because we are investing, the government is investing a huge amount on infrastructure. So once those will be ready, so I think it will not be difficult to attract investors, provided that we have investors-friendly policy. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much for your nice briefings. And I would now like to request Ms. Afsia Saleh, Vice President ATAB, MD Simon Overseas. Could you please tell us what role can an airline play through providing superior service? Okay. So please tell us about what role can an airline play through providing superior service and high quality flights in turning Bangladesh as a preferred transit choice. You know, the connectivity is very much important, and for flourishing tourism, the air connectivity is very much important. Thank you.
So much, our session chair, and thank you for asking this important topic. Actually, this is, for Bangladesh, this is actually a taboo topic. So for any passenger traveling to Bangladesh, the first point of contact and experience is actually airlines. So airlines are actually having a vital role in connecting Bangladesh to the other world. The experience generally has been that the in-flight service and the aircraft has used from other destination to the airline's hub countries are much superior than that one used from the hub to Dhaka. From our part, if we see, most of us, actually we are frequently traveler, I guess, over here. So we can observe that, you know, in flight, many airlines like European carrier, Middle Eastern carrier, they are conducting flights from Dhaka to Doha or Dhaka to Dubai. You can see the aircraft structure, the in-flight services, the crew services are different than the Dubai or Doha to onward flights to Europe, UK and USA part. So services are quite different. And this is very common comment that is made by most of the travelers coming from, say, USA, UK and Europe. The reason for that could be, you know, the airlines determine the service by the profile of the passengers they carry. And fact is, the bulk of the passengers from Bangladesh are workers and labor force who are going from Bangladesh to Middle Eastern countries and some European destination nowadays. However, we are actually missing out on the tourist population, and that includes NRBs, business travelers, corporate travelers coming from US and Europe. Our tourism industry, actually infrastructure, has now in exponential growth, and thanks to the government authorities for enabling environment to boost tourism in Bangladesh. As far as the airlines flight services are concerned, there is a lot of discrimination in the quality of services. And in determining actually what destination passenger would prefer to have a transit in Bangladesh, there are different insights are there why people will choose Bangladesh as a transiting country. Because if we see Singapore as a hub country, we can see the Singapore Changi Airport itself is an amusement like a park in the Singapore city. So while transiting Singapore, travelers can avail a long transit time, if it is 6 hours, 10 hours. There are lots of activities. They have built up a park. There are relaxation part like entertainment, amusements are there. So people would like to stay for a longer transit, and a good and quality, like a 5-star kind of a transit hotels availabilities are also there. So these different kind of attraction of the destination while people choose a transit, so this has to be ensured from our end. Not only that, the attraction of the destination, what as a Bangladesh transiting point, what we are offering to foreign travelers, this is also a very important fact. Accommodation facility, law and order facility, safety of the travelers, the quality of services in the airport, and the amusement attractions, etc., are the very important part for, you know, to airlines to consider as a hub or transiting country in the Bangladesh. If we see our neighboring country, India, Delhi and Mumbai, we can observe that many people are choosing transiting point over there because they are having a transit facilities, good transit facilities from airlines part. Airlines are offering, and they have that capacity actually in the other countries that they can offer a free lounge, maybe a day trip. They can cooperate with the tour guide or traveler to offer a day trip for the passengers who are transiting through their countries. A research paper by Research and Market on global airline and tourism growth opportunities highlights that among top 10 tourist destinations in Europe were found to have undertaken plans of recovery after the COVID. These destinations had a robust aviation network which connects them to nearby countries. So if we do and plan that how we can connect our neighboring countries like Nepal, Bhutan, Sri Lanka, India to our countries, cross-border tourism, or through an interland agreement, their airlines can also have a facility to our airport through with our Biman Bangladesh Airlines. Interline agreement is there. Then they can have a smooth check-in facility, baggage transfer facility. All these things we can also think like that. For us, actually, like our other neighboring countries, India, Nepal, Sri Lanka, and Bhutan, we can target and we can get the support from these countries' officials also. The study also found that airlines can provide a greatest deal of information for choosing a destination. So if we think about an airline's part of view, they can have a good contribution on how, from Dubai to Dhaka, how they can attract the tourists. They can also work on that with us. From my experience, what I feel is that the growth potential of Bangladesh in tourism can be divided into two terms and two time frame actually.
Afzia, please, could you make it shorter, please?
Yes. Short term as a destination from across nearby borders like India, Bhutan, and Nepal and regional airlines can play a good role in this. Long term as a standalone destination where international airline can play a good role. Finally, as Terminal 3 is opening up, so we expect more airlines to operate in Bangladesh, having transit in Bangladesh and connecting to the different world. And from that, we need to actually place a mutual vice versa benefited thing from airlines and Bangladesh also. And for thus, the Civil Aviation Authority, the airports has to be well equipped to make Bangladesh as a transiting point and considered as a hub country. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Now I would like to request His Excellency, the Ambassador of Nepal in Bangladesh, His Excellency Gansham Bandari, from here. You could see it, okay. Okay. Could you, Excellency, tell us what are some initiatives Nepal is taking to attract tourists and improve hospitality? And especially, what are some lessons and what do you think to improve tourism? Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, esteemed Secretary, Honorable Minister, State Minister for Civil Aviation and Tourism, Honorable Minister of Industry, Commerce and Employment of Bhutan, esteemed Secretary of Civil Aviation and Tourism, fellow panelists, excellencies, business leaders from Bangladesh and abroad, friends from media, and ladies and gentlemen. I've been given specific questions, and to speak on specific questions with a written statement is difficult, so I thought I'd speak from my heart, but it becomes difficult when you listen to such young and vibrant entrepreneurs and professors, that also in front of two honorable ministers, the politicians. It becomes difficult for a diplomat like me because diplomats' speeches are most of the time very dull, boring, and repetitive. But I hope you'll indulge with me for some time. Thank you, first of all, for this opportunity. I really appreciate this opportunity to speak in this Bangladesh Business Summit, which is an occasion to showcase Bangladesh's business opportunities to the business community here in Bangladesh and also in the region and beyond. And it will be an occasion, I'm sure, to explore opportunities to further expand relationship and private sector cooperation in our countries. Talking about tourism, COVID-19 pandemic, we all agree, was a big blow. Strict measures and lockdown. With the strict measures and lockdown, people had to moderate their expectations, restrict themselves within the closed doors, and they had to exercise caution. Now that the pandemic has subsided a little bit, at least in our region, in our countries, the importance of human touch and human interactions and travel and movement has become more important. And that's where we talk about the revival of tourism. Nepal, as it was also figured in the speeches, in the remarks of previous speakers, is one of the countries with tourism, high tourism potentials like Bangladesh. Majestic mountains in the north, hills and rivers in the middle, and plains and jungles in the Tarai, in the plains, are the major attractions. Large lakes, green valleys, waterfalls, national parks, cultural and archaeological sites, and the list goes on. I'm not here to promote what Nepal has, but I'll be basically talking about, since the first question is about what we are